Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cesar and now we're doing animated horror stories reaction video by Juan C Production. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video, it was about me reacting to a Cyanide compilation video. If you haven't seen that, please go check it out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe, because if we reach 100 subscribers, I'll make my own TikTok compilation video. So please subscribe if you haven't, and let me tell you, let's get on with the video.
Lunch. And when I got home that evening, she wasn't there. She didn't come back.
Wait, there we go. My mom disappeared, and I ate strange
I don't
meat.
know what to do. It all started 3 weeks ago.
Pretty sure that
My mom.
Pretty sure that title explains by itself. Like, your mom went missing, and you ate strange meat. Pretty sure that title speaks for itself. Like, I already know what's gonna happen.
She was at home in the morning, nothing different. She hugged me, saying goodbye, wished me luck with school, and gave me a packed lunch. And when I got home that evening, she wasn't there. She didn't come back. So we called the police, and all of the search was set up. The whole town came together and held a giant search party, lasting through the night, but there was no sign of her at all. She had just completely vanished. The weeks since were hell for both me and my dad. Rumors started spreading through town, and particularly around the school, that my mom had been murdered. Dad took things a lot worse than I did. He was a carpenter, so it wasn't unusual behavior for him to disappear into the garage for a long time to work on a chair or table or something. Especially, it was what he always did when he was stressed. I figured that's just how he was dealing with the grief. We barely spoke over the next couple weeks. He was locked in there from sunrise to midnight.
What?
And we might bump into each other at one point, but he'd just say goodnight and went to bed. Sure,
Well,
it was a bit
creepy.
weird, but I understood that he was going through a lot. But the longer he spent in there, the less I was sure he was doing woodwork. There were large bottles of bleach popping up in our bins, and Dad barely took any break. One night, I had waited for him to go to sleep, and I crept down to try to open the door, but it was locked tight, and Dad always had the key. But today, when I came home from school, he was in the kitchen, freshly shaved, showered, had a rested face. He was totally different from what he'd been for the last couple of weeks. He was cooking. My dad used to love grilling, and his steaks were always amazingly delicious. So it was a nice change, since I fed myself only pot noodles and soup for a few weeks. He set down two of the biggest, bloodiest steaks I had ever seen in my life. But it looked kind of different. Not bad, but just different. Dad tucked into a steak straight away, and I did too. It was a bit tough to chew, but the seasoning and flavors tasted just as good as the rest of the steaks were. We had finished pretty soon, and I was feeling full and satisfied. Then Dad said something I can't stop thinking about.
Weird.
I doubt they'll ever find her body. His voice didn't sound sad or depressed. I didn't say anything, just stared at him. Hearing what he said sent shivers down my spine. Then I thought of the steaks. The late nights in the garage, hundreds of bleach bottles, and my dad's weird behavior.
Did you put bleach in there?
Did he feed me her body?
That's good.
Or am I just overthinking it? What do I do?
I saw something, an unbelievable creature.
When I was 16, my
nice.
parents, brother, and I were living in an apartment on the 4th floor. Every night, we heard crazy laughing outside of our house. At first, we just thought it could have been a neighbor taking care of a sick person, so we didn't worry about it. Then one night, I heard laughing again. It was 11 p.m., and everyone in my house was sleeping.
Okay.
I got out of bed and looked out the window, and I saw nothing. And as soon as I looked out the window, the laughing stopped. It was kind of weird, but anyway, I just went back into bed and slept. After that, I had to use the bathroom at 4:30 a.m. The bathroom was downstairs in the hall, and the bathroom window was facing a big field of grass and a parking lot. After I finished using the bathroom and washed my hands, I heard that crazy loud laugh again for about a whole 30 seconds. It sounded like this person didn't even get tired.
Bro,
He
she's
seemed
on
that he needed to
something,
catch
bro.
his breath from this loud and long laughing. I proceeded to look out the window again, and then I saw a group of about 5 dogs going crazy around something. And when the dogs moved,
Cat?
I absolutely felt fear. There was something.
There's a cat.
Another dog. I think it was a dog.
No, no,
It
it's a
had
dog.
a dog body and paws, but not a dog face. It had a human face, and it was staring at me. It looked at me for a minute and then started to slowly
Whoa.
smile, and then laughed again. And that was the same voice that I've heard constantly. I ran to my room, but I
Dang.
couldn't go back to
A
sleep.
dog with a human face?
The next morning, I told my parents and brother what had happened, and they thought I had a nightmare. I said
course.
that I swear it wasn't a nightmare, but they didn't believe me. They just laughed and ignored it. Everything felt real. I know it was 100% real. But the next few days went by, and I didn't hear anything. And one day, it was getting quite dark outside.
Whoa, that's creepy, bro.
I did end up getting a cold from swimming, so my parents and brother went out grocery shopping without me.
Why?
It was
Oh,
9 p.m.,
gosh.
and I took my dog for a walk for a little while. There was an abandoned house down the block,
Don't go in.
and my dog took off running to a bush suddenly. It was
No.
like something caught his attention. I ran after my dog, and literally, I had to crawl under a fence to go and get him. When I finished crawling under the fence, I ended
Oh.
up cutting my knee.
Ugh.
But
Splinter.
thankfully, I got my dog. And when I looked up,
Oh,
there
it's not a
that
dog.
thing was. That dog with a human face.
That looks so
We
weird,
were
bro.
face to face. It had glowing green eyes.
That's more like
And
a
it had
cat
definitely
than a
human face
dog.
features. And the head was bald. I screamed, and it just started that scary laughing again. I ran away with my dog and came back home. Well, I'm 18 now, and my family and I moved away to another place.
That's nice.
I don't know what the heck that thing was, and why I've seen it twice. But I'm just glad that I don't see it anymore.
Oh, I think it's a dog. Oh, okay. Dude, leave that dog, bro. Oh my god, you better pet that dog down, bro. Someone tried to bring it to my house several times. Didn't I already see this one?
Alone. Built it.
Yeah, I
One-
already reacted to this one.
And I had no ignore this.
Let's waste some time and just
Rang
skip
it
this.
that ran up to that moment. This he had happened. I am replay. Well, find
Cool. And
There.
it happened.
it.
Someone was living in my...
My name is Michael,
Yeah,
and
that was
it
way too
happened 2
fast,
years
bro. I
ago.
can't even read that.
I had some friends at the time. Let's call them Dan, Sarah, and Hazel. We decided to make our little party of explorers exploring forests and abandoned structures and such. That day was our first exploration, an abandoned house just at the end of my neighborhood.
Bro, why do
We started
why do
walking
people
toward
like
that
going
house
to
and
abandoned
reached it soon.
houses, bro?
People
Let's make a
said that it
YouTube
was
video
built in
so
the
you can get some
1940s.
views, bro.
It had been owned by a man who abandoned it after moving to live in the nursing home, and the house has been left alone since then. We were outside for a while, and Dan says we should go inside. We decided to check out the well first, which was next to the house. The well was stone and round, which looked exactly like the same thing as in the Ring movie. There was a piece of old wood
I
board
never really
covering the
watched the
top.
Ring movie. I don't really like scary stories.
All of a sudden, Dan
Besides
jumped up
the
on the
scary
board
movies.
like a
Besides
maniac.
these, this is
Then
nothing.
his leg fell
Well,
through
I-
the small opening. If he would have fallen in,
Whoa.
we'd have been in big trouble.
That was close,
Luckily,
bro.
he lifted his leg out of the opening and acted like nothing just happened.
Bro, you're such an idiot, bro. Why would he
We went
jump
inside,
on a
and we
whale
could
that's
smell
closed?
a very
Okay, you're gonna
strong
fall
odor
through.
emitting from inside the house. It was very gross. But putting smells aside, we came across a bunch of weird things around the house. Clothes packed in a freezer, a fireplace with dolls inside,
Whoa.
an upside-down table. It
Yeah,
kind of
almost-
looked like an art museum. Things started to get kind of eerie. Then we entered a bedroom this time, and the roof was almost caved in.
Where's
Clothes
that?
with stains everywhere, and a black ooze was rolled down across the ceiling.
Oh, but I don't think that black ooze.
I
that
was
looks like
going
blood.
to puke at this point. And at that moment, we heard some distinct chewing sounds. And we freaked out, so we didn't have any choice except we were going outside. But when we left the room, barely, we all froze. A man who wore a scruffy lime green shirt and old gym shorts stood in front of the front door. He seemed like that he didn't shower for a few months.
Bro, he about eat you, bro.
He just stood there and glared at us with a fierce look. He slowly lifted his arm to show us. It looked like a lump of raw meat with the blood still dripping from it.
Wait, that's...
That guy was chewing his arm. My legs were shaking. I wanted to cry at that time. He shouted, "Get the hell out of here," in a hoarse voice, and we ran away.
Get out. Get out,
I couldn't believe what it was I saw.
Look at his fingers,
After
bro.
that, I never met the same guy in my neighborhood.
Bro, I better
We
call
haven't
911,
told
bro.
our parents yet. And I'm still wondering, would he still be there if I visit that house again?
Dude, that's sad.
By 2050, there will
Yes, of course he'll be there. That's his house, apparently. The creepiest clown on the street story animated. Man, I can't get over this beat, bro.
This story happened in July in the year 2016.
Okay,
We had the clown scandal in the U.S., and it was pretty crazy. People would dress up in clown costumes and stalk people. And sometimes
creepy
even
clown
do worse.
site. You ever seen those videos how it's
My friend Miguel and I went to spend the night at our other friend's house, whose name is
in like
Milo.
2017,
We showed
December
up
was
at
like
his
the
house
month
around
where like
3 p.m.
a lot of clowns
We
were like
just
being
watched
shown
movies
stuff.
and ate snacks.
I don't know why.
Just regular teenager stuff.
But most of those
Milo's
videos are,
house
like,
was
fake.
next to a park, so we would usually go back to our home pretty late and walk the track. After watching movies all day, we eventually got bored of it, so we decided to go to the park and walk around for a bit.
Episode from
When we got to the park,
from this
the
channel
time
they
was
were watching?
exactly
I don't know.
2:36 a.m. At first, we just walked around, talking about girls at our school and other stuff. After we rounded a corner around the park
They're trying to use
bathrooms,
their V card.
that's when we saw him. There was a man in a black and white clown costume with no mask on, standing by the swings. He was looking at us
It looks like
with
he
his
doesn't even
head
have
slightly
any
tilted over to
eyes.
his right side.
Bro, why you guys still
I
standing
mentioned
there?
that he had no mask, so we could clearly see his face. The man had
Whoa,
a really dirty
whoa.
face with long
I don't like
black
that. I don't
greasy
like
hair.
that sound where it's like.
And
it's
he
like
had a
so
creepy
creepy.
smile on his face.
And we both say
His
creepy at the
smile
same time.
was almost stretched cheek to cheek.
Bro,
Even
I don't
though
like
he
the
was pretty
scary
far
stories,
from
bro.
us,
Sends
we could
chills behind
still
my
see
back,
that he
bro.
was staring right at us. We got nervous and scared, so we agreed to run back to Milo's house, since we were on the side of the park. We started the countdown in a whisper.
Countdown, seriously, just run. If you said, dude, if I was there with that guy, he was like, okay, I'm gonna count down and we run. Okay, no, let me count down. 3, go, and then run. I was going on 3, bro. I'll be like, 3, run.
3, 2, 1. And then we started running as fast as we could back to the house. After running for a minute, we made it to Milo's street and started running again toward his house in the middle of the road. When we made it to his house, we turned around to look down the street. And to our horror,
He's there.
we saw the man in the clown costume standing at the end of the road,
Oh my god, bro, this dude's so
only
creepy.
illuminated by a streetlight. He wasn't running or walking towards us. He just stood there. However, we were all sure
this
that he
dude needs
followed us.
therapy, bro.
And down in his hand, we were able to see that he was holding a long, sharp kitchen knife.
Why kitchen
We pounded the
knife?
front door, ran inside Milo's house, and went into his living room. Milo
lock
asked
the
what was
door.
going on, so we explained everything that just happened. He has one of those doorbells with a camera in it. So we sat in silence watching the
Oh,
monitor
look what
on
he
the
did to
wall.
his nose.
We then saw the
The
man
friends are
walking
so
down the street
confused.
looking left and right at each of the houses, probably checking to see if we were hiding. That clown guy finally stood
Whoa.
just in front of Milo's house.
Whoa.
We all
Whoa.
got shocked, but we
Whoa.
tried not to scream at all. And
Whoa.
all of a sudden, he was looking through that camera lens of the doorbell.
This dude needs help.
That was the
You need to call
creepiest
Safe
moment
to tell,
I've
bro.
ever had before.
Something's happened. You need to call Safe
Luckily,
to tell.
he kept walking down the street, and we never saw him again. And we've never spoke to anyone about this story. And to this day, I wonder what could have happened if we didn't decide to run to Milo's house when we did.
Gosh. I mean, always they're like, I wonder what would have happened if we didn't do this. Dude, you will die. What do you mean you wonder? A creepy guy asked me if we can have... Oh, I already seen this one too.
My king. Now I feel as I can get PC around. It was after, but that happened. I'm sorry. Have a
And that guy looked ugly as hell. Looks like
My name
a
is-
weird deformed version of Trump. I mean, not the Trump's weird. Never mind. He just looks like Trump. The creepy pizza delivery guy.
My name is Chad, and this story took place when I was about 12. I was at home with my mom since my dad was going to be out all night. 3 of my best friends came to my house for a sleepover party. We sat in my room playing
I never had a
PlayStation and
sleepover.
watching TV.
So it's my mom. Oh, they have a PS3.
Soon we noticed it was
I never
getting
had a
pretty dark outside.
sleepover because
Mom ordered
I
pizza
don't know, my
for
mom's
dinner,
just like,
so when the doorbell rang, we knew that
she's
the
just
pizza
really
had
protective,
arrived.
and she just let me
When my
sleep
mom
over at
opened the
anyone's
door,
house.
my friends and I were just right next to her.
I mean,
because
maybe
we
at my
were pretty
cousin's
hungry
house
at that time.
because it's family.
So we waited for her to take her money out and pay for it. The pizza delivery guy seemed like he was in his mid-50s and looked pretty old. While my mother was taking her money out, he looked at us. And all of a sudden, a creepy grin appeared on his face, and his eyes were wide open. It was kind of weird, but we just laughed it off as we didn't think much of it. My mom handed him the money, the pizza guy gave us the pizza, and then left. We took the pizza into my room and watched Netflix while we were
That
eating.
guy's not even using his
A
hands.
few hours passed, and my mom came up to our room and said, "It's time for you guys to go to bed. If you need anything, just let me know." My friends brought sleeping bags from their home, so we all got ready to go to bed and lied down. I turned the lights off and went into my bed. We talked to each other for about 45 minutes until it was around 11:45, close to midnight, and we eventually got tired of it. We closed our eyes, not saying a word to one another. Later that night, I heard rustling coming from the backyard. It sounded like someone was walking on a pile of leaves.
It's the pizza
At
guy.
first, I thought it was a cat walking around looking for food, as they usually do. However, the next thing I heard was a loud thump. It sounded a lot closer, and like it was hitting my wall. At that time, we already all got up from our spot.
Bro, that
and
feels
heard it.
like it's in here. I just have
We
the
were so
headphones off.
scared to look outside
feel like I'm
through
hearing
the
it in
window
here.
and check what was going on. And then we saw a hand on the window,
Oh,
lifting it up much higher.
oh, that scared the crap out of me. I don't
We all
want.
screamed with
I don't
fear, and the
want
guy
to wear the
still tried to
headphones
crawl
down.
in. But one of my friends thought much faster. He locked the window, and we all
Smart.
ran out of my room.
Yeah, why you guys didn't do that?
Then our
All of
house
you guys were
security
just too
alarm
scared
started
to-
going off like crazy. My mom, who was sleeping in her bedroom, came out, turned it off, and
Like,
asked what
he's
was
the
going
only
on.
smart one that
We
closed it,
explained
ran
what
up
just
there and
happened,
blocked it.
Looked at the cameras, which were set up outside of our house. There was a guy quietly trying to come down a ladder. I realized the thump on the wall we heard was a ladder. Mom quickly got out her phone and called the police. We locked all of the doors and came back to the monitors to look at the cameras. And we saw the man opened our backyard shed and hid in there. In just a few minutes, the police were already arrived. 3 officers went outside searching for the man, while we gave information to the other officer. And we told him that we saw the man going into the shed out in our backyard.
Maybe remind him of the pizza guy.
One of the police was holding a gun, and the other 2 were approaching closer to the shed. In the blink of an eye, they had entered the shed, found him in the shed hiding, put him
Yep,
in
it's the
handcuffs
pizza
to
guy.
arrest him. They brought him out front and put him in the back of a police car. That time,
what do you
lots
want
of
to do?
people heard the noise, came outside to see what was going on. And surprisingly, the cops found some things like a knife, hammer, and other from his pocket.
A screwdriver too. What the heck?
As he was in the back seat of the car, he looked at us and gave us a creepy grin with wide eyes.
Again, bro?
At first, I couldn't see his face clearly, but when I concentrated on
the
focusing
pizza
it
guy.
more visibly, I was shocked. It was the pizza delivery guy. After that, the police handled the situation, so we could go back to sleep again that night.
I don't know how you can sleep.
I don't
bro,
know
after
what
that.
this guy would have done to us if he had successfully got inside.
He would stab you and then hit you with a hammer. Dude, stop acting stupid. You'll die, bro. Sleep paralysis.
My name is Drian. Sleep paralysis happened to me very often until I turned 22. The first occurrence was
Most
when I was
people
12.
have sleep paralysis. I
It
never
was
had
summer
it.
break time, so we were having a sleepover at my aunt's house for a week. All my other cousins around my age were also there, so I was really excited during that time. One night, all of my cousins and the adults in the house were asleep. I was the only one still awake, playing games on my cousin's laptop. I was not scared at all staying up that late, because my other young cousins were in the same room as me. After I finished playing games, I went to bed around 2 or 3 a.m. I
Yeah.
passed out quickly.
I go to sleep at 2 a.m. on
Then
the weekend.
I woke up by something that I didn't know, and I couldn't move my body. I could only see my surrounding area and my other cousins asleep. I panicked and struggled to move.
Huh?
Finally, I was able to wake myself up, so I got up and immediately ran to my aunt's room. It was the first
Wait.
time I had experienced that kind of situation,
So
I
you
was
could see
crying a
them
lot.
while you
She
were
comforted
sleeping.
me and let me
Wow.
stay with her until morning.
Aw, that's nice.
That morning, I did some research on what it was and realized that it was
What are
sleep
you on?
paralysis. Well, they said it happened to many people, so I just thought it was a normal occurrence.
That doesn't look like sleep paralysis.
Weeks, months.
Sleep paralysis is like. Wait, was she like sleeping, but then she saw her surroundings while her eyes were closed? No, sleep paralysis is like when you're sleeping, you wake up, you can't move your body, but you see like a monster or like a shadowy figure in the corner of your room, but you can't move like at all. Because I feel like your brain woke up, but like your whole body is like still asleep. Like, yeah, your brain's the one who woke up, but the body is still asleep. It can't respond. Or yeah, I think that's how it is.
And years passed. It still
That
happened to
suck,
me,
bro.
but I was not scared of it anymore because I got used to it. I already knew what to do when it happened to me.
What'd you do?
A few years later, my parents left the house to work overseas. So it was just me, my younger brother, and my older male cousin in our house. One afternoon, it was our grandmother's birthday. I was tired of playing computer game tournaments online all night and needed some sleep. So I decided that I wouldn't go with them. I told them that I would catch up with them in the evening. I went to bed, and again, sleep paralysis occurred. It really pissed me off, because I needed some rest so I could go to the birthday party and not look tired. I couldn't move my body, but could still see the surrounding area. But then, something was different.
What?
There she was. I saw the silhouette of a woman.
Yeah, it's normal.
She was wearing a black dress. I couldn't tell if she was wearing a veil or it was just her long hair that almost covered her face.
Yeah, that's normal. You
And
just see like
furthermore,
something.
I couldn't
Whoa!
completely see her
Whoa,
face
bro.
because it was all blurry. I was so scared. What was going on here? She was just standing by the door looking at me as I
Bro,
struggled to wake
I
myself
don't know why I got my
up.
fist up,
She
bro.
looked like she was smiling, and all of a sudden
Whoa.
she jumped towards
Whoa.
me and grabbed me. She was trying to get
Oh.
inside my body. I resisted and struggled, but couldn't scream at all. After some struggling, I was able to push her back and woke myself up.
Wait,
I
was real?
screamed and was really scared, so I left the house and went to
How
the
can you
birthday
push
party.
her?
All my cousins asked me what happened, and I explained it to them. They gave me some advice to just pray before I go to bed.
that looks like an upside down
So
cross.
I took their advice and prayed, but it didn't work at all. It was really scary because it was the first time that I saw someone or something. 2 years later, me and my brother moved to Italy with my
I mean,
parents.
it's normal to see like a monster or something, but I don't think that's normal that like the monster like jumped on you. Like, can it? Because most people just say it just stands there. It doesn't move. It just stands there. I don't. Most people don't say it comes to you and it grabs you.
And we shared the same room.
I'm so glad I don't have sleep paralysis,
And
bro.
one night, I went to sleep, but my brother was still awake, playing computer games.
So you know why? It's because you're sleeping late. That's why. Because they say when you get sleep paralysis when you sleep like really, really late every night.
Again, I saw the same dark figure of a
never mind.
woman from back in our old house. She was at my feet, grabbing my legs, trying to pull me down. I tried to struggle and really wanted to scream for help to my brother, but I couldn't do it.
Bruh.
I could see my brother looking at me with a confused face. He thought that maybe I was just dreaming and talking in my sleep.
Can't see
The
her.
idiot even laughed at me. I was just trying to resist, and
Bruh, if I were you, I'll try so hard to get up. I mean, once I'm able to get up, I'll be ready to hug. I'll be ready to fight her. I'll be like, like that. I'll punch her,
not
bro.
get pulled by the dark-figured woman. And after some struggling, I was able to wake myself up. But this time, I still saw the dark-figured woman, but my brother couldn't. I pointed my finger at it, but my brother still didn't see anything.
Bro, I'll be ready.
He
Be ready
just
to
said
fight,
there
bro.
was nobody there.
If I saw like that
In
woman,
seconds,
I'd be like, "Come at me, bro."
later, It slowly faded.
I'd be like, "Swing." You know, I'd be like, if something was just standing on my bed or in front of my bed, I'd be like, I would stand up. I'd be like, "Okay, come on, swing first, come on."
I told my mother about it. And
That's
she
how
didn't
it would be.
really
I'll be like,
believe
swing
me,
first,
and
and
even
then
told
I'll-
me that it was because I didn't
I'll be like,
go
"Get
to
ready to
church
hook up,
and
bro."
pray. Another night, sleep paralysis occurred again, and I
Okay.
saw this woman again.
Ah. So creepy how they like.
She was really
you don't see
close
them
to me.
walking. They're just
I
like.
still couldn't see her face. It was all black and blurry. And this time, she literally talked to me. She whispered into my ear, "I will give you anything you want. Money, fame, glory. All you need to do is let me in." I told her, "No, please leave me alone," and woke myself up again. That was the last time I saw her. That was in 2017, and now it's 2019. I'm 22 now.
Oh,
I'm not scared of sleep paralysis, but the only thing is, I'm just scared of that dark-figured woman.
Oh, you know, remember what I taught you? Remember what I told you? Bah. Well, you can't move. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. And plus, when you wake up, no. I don't want to see another video. The problem is, I can't really. If that happened to me, I can't really fight her because I wouldn't be able to move. And when I wake myself up, she'll be gone. Or no, she might still be there, and I'd be ready to fight her. I don't know. So that was the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, bye everyone.